Okay, guys, another quick example here in crude. This is May crude here. I'm doing this on, well, I'm recording this Monday evening, the 28th, but we're doing playback here for Monday's particularly nice example here. So, let's see, you can see here, it's just after noon here on Monday afternoon. So we've had some no surprise, remarkable volatility in crude. Let me push that off just for a second, just so you can see this here. So good, nice example here through the overnight. We'll clear downtrend, breaks of structure, all the lower low, lower high, all the way down. Then we get a little retrace here to take on a 1 minute. I get now an uptrend because I get 1, 2 breaks of structure. Right. So if we were evaluating right here, well, the trend was up. Now here, break of structure, break of structure. So here's the open, right? So right at the 9 o'clock hour, we come in. It's straight down, just boom. Pretty remarkable, right? So we go down just 310 ticks, $3 grand a contract, right? So very few are going to be jumping on board there right off the chute, right out of the chute to be short. So coming down here, okay, we're going to get certainly some swing structure here that's of interest. So down we go, break of structure, break of structure. Now we put a double bottom in here at the IB low, right? And you can see there's a test here. Technically, this is the first test here, so gave you a pretty nice trade there. If you don't know about the IB first test, that's a trade that I would encourage you to review our other training material. Okay, so now we after this double bottom down here at the IB, we start to show signs of potentially now a reversal. It starts, it's hard to spot it, right? So I got one change of character, then I got another change of character, then I got another change of character, but slowly, all of a sudden, now we start to move here. Now we're moving, we're changing the trend. We're breaking structure. Now we're breaking structure again. So I've gone from clear downtrend. Now we're in a raging uptrend. We've already done a full round trip on the IB. So from here, IB high has just now been tapped. So look at this now. If I look here and if I turn the zones on here, well, I got a cluster up here, right? I got quite a few of them. Oh, now some of this tied to to the overnight. Some of the, here, if we bring it down here, so you're going to remember anytime we get a change of character or break a structure here, as I have it set to show me both, I'm going to get all sorts of in this case, supply zones here. I've got a demand zone here and a demand zone down at the bottom. So I mean, that's just too many. That's too many for me to spot. So I'm going to take these off here. I'd probably be focusing in on well, here's the big one right here, and then I get a second one here, but when they're that big, I'm likely going to draw myself, right? So I'd certainly I would want the big one here. There's the pre-market high, so I might do that. And then additionally, I'd be mindful. I might do it this way, of this one here as well. All right, so this is the last up before the down that leads to changes of character. So you follow along here. So here we are now. The idea is not not to try and pick the turn. That's not what we're trying to do, even though that looks like, whoa, that might have worked out rather nicely. It's not to try and pick the turn, right? We have no indication here that this isn't just going to continue to go straight up. What we want to see is some signs that, okay, maybe, all right, maybe I get a lower low, lower high, change of character. So if I'm going to come back up here and then try and look for that to get on board to the short, well, think about it this way. If I'm selling, don't I want to be selling in the premium zone? I'm certainly in the premium zone. I mean, here's the, we could just here do it, right? I mean, it's not hard to tell, right? We're pushing towards the 100%. So clearly we're in the premium zone here. It's a bit silly to make that distinction, but just as a reminder, okay, how do I look at this? I cut it in half. Where do I want to be selling? Okay, so we've got that. So let me bring this back over here. What am I, 100x here? Well, let's let it go a little bit forward, and we'll see how we react there. So there's, okay, maybe some signs here that we're starting to maybe soften a little bit. Okay, so right now as I look at it, and again, you can see it with your eye, but we got swing, retrace, swing. All right, so we've got a little pullback, a retrace. This is a lower high. Now it's not enough. Get this back on. It's not enough per the swing structure, and as I have it set to an ATR of 2, it's not enough here to create either breaks. Well, this is a small break of structure, but I don't get any change of character here. Actually, can you see that? It's probably hard to see. Here, this little pivot here is the first break of structure that I get. So, here, let's take everything off here. So there you can see it here. So because this is the last high, they gave me a high. Now here's one break of structure. All right, so now let's see, where are we? 1220. Let's put zones. No, it's still going to be too many. But I would probably, I could do something like this. It just kind of wick off that high and say, okay, well, something that's about as far as we wanted to go before it started to soften a little bit. 100 maybe too fast here. So let's just go at 50 and see what we get here. So there's now we're starting to look like we're softening here. So all of a sudden now, if I put these back on, have I left a demand zone here? I've left one right here. Let's let that go a little bit further here. Now I'm into that. Now, well, so okay, look here. Now I've got a potentially demand zone. I've got a supply zone up here. Now, do I want to be a buyer right here? Okay, well, clearly, this part of the trend is up. I've hit a demand zone here. Well, just as it sits right there, even if you take this one, buying right at the IB, that would be a riskier location, but you've had this and you've had a little push. There's probably a scalp there, but that's really not per se the kind of risk reward that we're looking at. What would your target be here, right? You're going to have to be breaking all of these supply zones here on the way up. So I think perhaps not the right trade at this location, although there's probably a little scalp trade that's there, right? So I mean, you're getting a reaction here off of the demand zone. Oh, let's go a little bit further here and take a look, see if we get maybe a better opportunity here. So now as we're popping back up, where we are, okay, so now we're in the discount zone. Okay, so let's take these off in here. I'm just going to draw it. I think it'll be easier to see. So here I'm using the last up candle here. Oh, here, I got to take that one off where I've identified that wick. Let me draw again. So here's the last up. Gives me that pivot, right, that led to the break of structure, and as we get little micro changes of character here. Okay, so do you see what's happened here? My little drawing tool. So swing, retrace, swing. Now we're coming all the way at. Anybody want to get on board here? Well, how would the risk reward look here? Right, so if this is my stop here and this is my entry, because I'm using the 50% of that range, so I'm going to enter right there. Okay, now what would my first target be? First target would be the week low. Let's turn these back on. First target would be the week low. Right. Next target would be the swing structure. Down here we're at the demand zone. So I'm essentially, I've got 9-to-1 here sitting. So what do I got there? I'm risking 180. So if assuming you're in a full size contract here, I'm risking 180 to make 1770. That's pretty good risk reward. All right, stop is on the other side of the pivot right here, the highest high. Now we're retracing here. Let me get this off to the side. I'm going to do it that way. So I'm in the premium zone of the last range here. I suppose we can turn those off here. So let's just see what we get here. So as we start to push out of it here, all right, so probably at this point, it would not be unreasonable to tighten that stop up a little bit. Maybe I can cut it in half. Now I still have my same targets down here, but I can reduce the risk off of that pivot. Oh, I mean, you could almost do it this way. Let's take that off. I could almost do it this way. Oh, come back here, right? So now we're here. Here we are. We went right into the wick. So if I had set the supply demand zones to show me just wick instead of candle, I would have hit just. You can't get any better than that. Let me put that back on here, and we'll see how this plays out. So we got a reasonable target down here. So we're breaking the first. Here's the first break of structure. So now I've broken that zone. There you see as it breaks, they are taken off the chart. So I got a reasonable target down here. I got one. There's a change of character here. There's my target down here. Can I get there? Well, there's the pre-market mid. Now I'm getting a little retrace. That might be a location to add. It's up to the individual trader. So as we sit right here, oh, what did we just do right there? Tick the edge of that supply zone. Oh, I don't remember where this ends up here. But let's just do a little, see where we are here. So at this point, we're up. There's 134 ticks. I think we can go a little bit further here. You get that second zone. Do we get a chance to add here? If we get any sort of a pullback into the zone, because we've left behind a zone here, wouldn't quite be the premium. So now I've got multiple zones here, and I've just now come in here. We'll go ahead and pause it there. So I've come right, look what I do, right? I tag the midline here of the demand zone here. Now this becomes the week low. So again, it's right out of the line drawings. I literally can't script this any better. We retrace here. I get into the premium zone of the last supply zone here. Down I come. I get a little three that brings me back here. Potential place to add. If you didn't get it there, you got another chance here. So if you didn't get the first one, well, as we come down here, there's another 760. So if you took the first one and wrote it all the way down, what'd you get there? 2,000. If you added on here on the little retrace, or you took your, what did you get here, right? So if we took this one here, there's we'll call it 1370. You're not going to get tick high to low. Let's call it 1350. Now a little retrace here to the supply zone that it left behind. Oh, I wasn't sure about that one. Oh, it gave you another chance to get it with a break of structure, right? You can see here this would have been potentially, but it right through it. And where do we end up? Right back at a demand zone. So hopefully these are starting to make sense to you and you know what to look for. It takes a little practice. It takes a little finesse, just getting used to it, knowing if you're turning these off, okay, right? You may lean on those a little bit at first. You'll get to where you won't need them. Or you might just quickly reference, oh, okay, here I see this one. Oh, that went far enough. And typically, you're going to use it as a reference, say, oh, did I get it enough here? But you're going to know eventually as to whether or not it created a change of character or a break of structure. Right? You'll be able to look at it and say, oh, well, yeah, I got one there because that created the change of character that led to the break of structure, and on and on. Okay, guys, hopefully that's starting to make sense and you're starting to see it with time and a little practice. Again, it's not rocket science, but it takes a little time to get your eye tuned into, okay, where are we looking next? What's the last thing that happened? And we're giving you some tools along the way, like where's the trend, right? Do I want these on? Do I want them off? Current trend is down. I got large swing structure. So here's break of structure, break of structure. I can't lay it out. It means literally like a line drawing. One break of structure, two breaks of structure. Any question about where the trend is? Doesn't mean that's where the trend stays, but we can certainly identify where the trend is. So if we start to retrace back, once I cross that 50, now I'm in the premium zone. Well, I've got a target of the next week low. Now we don't know that it's not going to do that, but right now I got a clear target, right? We never know. Right? Now turn these back on. Oh, now so if I start to come back this direction. All right, do I want to just take it here? Well, I'd rather see something like this. All right, maybe that at onboarding. That's what you're looking for. Okay, guys, I'll keep the examples coming. Hopefully that starts to make sense.